I've been a long time Todoist user, but seeing people talking about how great Reminders is in Apple's OS 26 series, I thought I'd take another look. And I was surprised at how much it's closed the gap with Todoist. If you haven't looked at Reminders for a while, you might be surprised by how powerful it is these days too. In this video, I'm going to show you how I got Reminders to do almost everything that's been keeping me on Todoist for years at this point. Let's go through some of the features side by side here. I've got Todoist open on the left and Reminders open on the right. Both apps have some similar views built in. They both have a Today view that shows all your tasks that are scheduled for today. They both have upcoming or scheduled views to see all your upcoming tasks by day. Todoist calls it upcoming and Reminders calls it scheduled, but it's effectively the same thing in both. And they both have a completed list that shows you all the tasks that you've completed going back as far as you want to look. Todoist lets you add things to your favorites, while Reminders lets you pin them. So in both cases, you can add whatever filters or lists you want to get quick access to. Again, different names, but very similar. One of the default lists that Todoist does include that isn't built into Reminders is this inbox. Basically, this is where Todoist will capture any tasks that you enter that you don't assign to a specific project. It's just kind of a catch-all. Reminders doesn't have an inbox built into it, but it's easy to set one up. So if you want Reminders to work effectively the same way as Todoist, it's super easy. All you need to do is create a new list in Reminders, and you can just call it Inbox. You can set an icon for it if you want, so we'll use an inbox icon here. And then you can select from the various colors here. Whatever color you choose here is the color that the big button will show up as in your pinned lists at the top if you pin it. And then under list type, make sure that this stays on standard. That's the default, so you shouldn't have to worry about changing that. Now, I've already got an inbox created, so I'm not going to create this one, but you just click OK and it'll add this list to Reminders. So you see I've got the inbox here. Then if you want to add that to the pinned list at the top here, you just right click on it and pin list, and it'll show up here, and then you can just drag it into whatever order you want. And then to make that the default list that all new tasks go into when you add something, if you go into your Reminders settings, just make sure that the default list at the top here is set to that inbox list that you just created. And then anytime you create a new task in Reminders without assigning it to a specific list, it'll show up in your inbox for processing later. Todoist has a couple of other features that aren't part of Reminders too. One of them isn't really necessary at all as far as I'm concerned, and one of them was one of the things that made me stick with Todoist for years. The unnecessary one, in my opinion, is the productivity features in Todoist. You can set daily and weekly goals for the number of tasks that you've got that you want to complete on any given day or week, and it'll show you your progress towards those goals. Now, I haven't been using Todoist lately because I'm mostly using Reminders, so when I opened it to do this video, I had a whole bunch of outdated tasks, so I cleared a bunch of stuff out. That's why my goals are so high, but normally this would show you you've done whatever percentage towards your weekly goal or your daily goal. Personally, I don't see a lot of value in setting an arbitrary goal for the number of things that you want to complete. It's not about how many things you do on a given day. It's about getting the important things done. Marking one super important task as complete, to me, is more valuable than doing 20 or 30 or however many things just to hit a target. Todoist also has this karma score that kind of gamifies completing tasks. Honestly, I feel the same way about this feature. It's more important to complete things because they're important than it is just to get your karma score up to the next level. I used to use this, and it was, I don't know if motivating is the right word, but I used to use it and try and get that number up. As you can see, I'm at 40,000 here, which I guess is a fairly high score, but I got to the point where I would add things to Todoist just so that I could mark them off to get this score up higher and higher. Even if it might be things that I had already done for the day and just added the task strictly to be able to check it off. So I found that it actually became more of a crutch, I guess, or it kept me from getting things done because I was more concerned about getting that score up to the next level than I was about actually getting work done and accomplishing something. But having said all that, I was curious if I could set up something similar in reminders using shortcuts. So if the productivity goals in Todoist do help keep you motivated, stick around to the end of the video and I'll show you how you can add something that's sort of similar to reminders. Now, the critical feature in Todoist that, for me at least, that's missing in reminders is the quick entry tool on the Mac. It's just a matter of hitting a hotkey to pop up the quick entry and easily add a task from anywhere on the Mac. Doesn't matter what app I'm in or what I'm doing. But it's not just the convenience of the quick entry that makes this so helpful. It's also the natural language processing. The natural language processing makes it super easy to enter tasks. You can just add, a project. You can add the priority, date you want to do it. There's lots of different syntax that it can recognize to automatically add these things to the task as you're adding it to your system. So for me at least, it saves a ton of time versus going in and manually adding all these things in reminders, or even just adding it to the inbox in Todoist and then going back later to sort it. I know most of the advice you see says to just drop things in your inbox and then go back and review and sort it later. But if you already know what project something belongs in or what day you want to do it or anything else, why wouldn't you just add that at the same time that you add the task? It seems like a waste of time to me to add the task and then go back later and do the work that you could have done all at once. Reminders doesn't have a system-wide quick entry on the Mac, and natural language processing isn't nearly as good as Todoist, even when you're adding tasks in the app itself. But I found a third-party app called Remind Me Faster that basically solved this problem for me. Now, I should say this is a free app, but the natural language entry is a premium feature that you have to pay for. But it's a one-time cost, and here in Canada, at least, it's about the same amount as a 1 month subscription to Todoist Pro or Premium or whatever they call it. The prices will vary from one country's app store to another, but here in Canada, it was about $8 to add the feature. The natural language processing is a bit different than Todoist, but it lets you add all the same things. So if I hit my hotkey that I've set to this, to get the quick entry for Remind Me Faster, this is what I get, which obviously looks a little different than Todoist, but it has most of the same features in it. It shows you at the top here what the default list is going to be that it adds to, which, like we already set up, is inbox for me. So if I add a task here and don't do anything else at all, it'll add it to my inbox. So you see when I hit enter, you can see in behind here, immediately shows up in my inbox. There's the task I just added. But if I want to add more details to it, I can choose a list. If you know the list you want to add it to, if you start typing the name, as soon as it can recognize the name of a list that matches what you're typing, it'll pop up below, and you just hit tab to assign it to that. And you can see here now it's changed from inbox to demo list. If I want to add a date, I know already that I want to do it, say next Wednesday. Same thing, as you type, it recognizes days or specific dates or anything like that. So it'll show up down below here. It's recognized the date. If I want to add a specific time, that'll get added here as well. And then if you want to set a priority for it, reminders uses exclamation marks as the priority indicators. So 1 exclamation mark is low priority, 2 is medium, and 3 is high priority. So you can just enter that right in the quick entry here. And then when you hit enter, sends it into reminders into the list. So if I go down to my demo list, here it is. So that's the task I just added. It's set for next Wednesday, which is December 10th, at the time I'm recording this at noon, and it's set as a high priority task. Now, Remind Me Faster doesn't have its own system-wide hotkey settings the way that Todoist does, but it's easy to add that in the system settings on the Mac. To add the hotkey, we'll set up an automation in Automator, which is built into Mac OS, and then add a hotkey to it through system settings. So if you open Automator and create a new automation, you want to choose Quick Action here, the one with the gear. And then this list here is all of the various automations that you can add. What we want to add is launch application. So if you start typing launch in the search bar up above, it'll filter this down to just that automation. And if you double click it, it adds it to the Automator workflow. And then all you need to do is choose the app that we want to open, which is Remind Me Faster in this case. So when you open that drop down, all of the apps that are listed here are all the built-in apps from Apple. So you have to click on Other down at the bottom, and you'll get a Finder window open to your Applications folder, and you can just scroll down and find the Remind Me Faster app here. And then once you've got that entry in there for launching that's all you have to do in Automator. So you just save this and then give it a name that you'll use in system settings to find it in the services list. Now, I suggest giving this a name that you'll remember what it means, 6 months or a year from now, if you ever want to go in and change your hotkey or change this for some reason. You'll need to be able to find it. So in this case, I'm just going to call it Remind Me Faster Demo, but name it something that you'll remember what it is months from now if you have to go back to it. And then once you've saved that, that's all you need to do with Automator. So you can close that. And open your system settings. Now in system settings, you want to scroll down and find keyboard in the menu on the left. And then you can click keyboard shortcuts there, services in the left column again, and open up the general section. Now in here, you'll see various things, depends on exactly what you have installed, how many things will be here, but the Automator workflow that you just created will be one of them. Now I already have one in here that I set up for normal use, but you can see here the Remind Me Faster demo is already shown up here. So find the workflow, the service that you just created the workflow for, and then over on the right here, you just double click. It'll say none when you first set it up, but if you've already assigned a hotkey and you want to change it, you just double click on that, and then you can set that to whatever you want it to be. And then once that hotkey is set, when you hit that hotkey, your quick entry window for Remind Me Faster pops up automatically. Now, Remind Me Faster works on iOS and iPadOS as well as the Mac. And once you pay for the natural language entry feature, it works on all your devices. You can add a widget to the lock screen on your phone or to the control center so that you can quickly add tasks when you pick up your phone or when you're in any other app, really. After setting all these things up, reminders can do almost everything Todoist does. You've got your inbox list where your tasks go by default. You've got your today list, your upcoming or scheduled list, and whatever pinned list you've got. Your completed list is here. And you can hit a hotkey anywhere on your Mac to get the quick entry box and use natural language to create your tasks. And if the karma score and goals in Todoist do help keep you motivated, you can do something similar in reminders with a shortcut. So I've got my shortcuts app open here, and this productivity stats is the shortcut that I made for this. So if we run this, it'll go into your reminders and pull out some details based on the reminders that you've completed. So comparing this to the productivity feature in Todoist, this shortcut shows your daily progress, just like daily goal in Todoist. Now, again, I've been testing things today, so I've got more tasks than I actually have set as my goal. So the percentage is quite high, but this will show your whatever you've set as your daily goal. In this case, 5 tasks. It'll show the percentage that you're complete. It does the same thing for the weekly, just like Todoist. In this case, I've got 60 set as the arbitrary number I picked for my weekly task, but as you can see, I haven't hit that, so I'm at 85% of the way. These bars will show up in whatever color is appropriate. If it's under 50%, they'll be red with the bar or the progress bar showing that. 50 to 99% is yellow, and then anything from 100% and up, you see green. So you can see at a glance what your progress looks like. The karma score in Todoist, there's a lot more to it, but this productivity score that I've got in here is basically, this is the total number of tasks that you've completed in reminders. Not just today or this month or anything, it's total from all of the tasks that you've ever put into it. This is the number that you've completed. So it's a little bit more simplistic than Todoist. It just shows you the total number of tasks, where Todoist shows you the number of tasks. It factors in consistency, how many days in a row you've hit your goals. It factors in other things, like if you're paying for the app, it'll give you a big bump in your karma score every time you renew, things like that. But I think it's a reasonably effective way to track your progress. And just like Todoist, you can set your daily and weekly goals to see your progress. It's just a setting you change in the shortcut that lets you adjust those. If you're interested in the shortcut, I've got an iCloud sharing link in the description below. You can copy the shortcut from there to install it on your own device, and it works on the Mac, iPhone, and iPad. It doesn't collect any kind of data or it doesn't send anything anywhere else. It's all done on your device. And the shortcut isn't really all that complicated, so you can review what it does before you install it and see for yourself if you have any doubts, which is always a good idea if you're installing a shortcut from the internet. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something new in this video, and if so, I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. And if you're new here, my name's John. I'm on a journey to simplify some things in my life, one of which is all the different apps I've been using to track my time and projects. I'm sharing what I learn along the way, and hopefully some of the mistakes I make and aha moments that I have will help you too. I'll see you in the next video.